right, I think we'll get the meeting started. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Lincoln County Courthouse. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will start this meeting with a few remarks. This meeting is being streamed live, and when adjourned and posted, it will be available at any time at lincolncountysd.gov. The order of events tonight will be as follows. For each public hearing, staff will introduce the agenda item and present a summary of the staff findings. The applicant will then be asked to explain their proposal in farther detail and to answer any questions from the County Planning Commission. I will then open the floor to public comment, first for persons in support of the application, and then persons in opposition of the application. When you step up to the podium, please state your name, address, and speak clearly into the microphone. Please limit your comments to less than 5 minutes. Lastly, decisions on change of zone and zoning ordinance amendments will be scheduled for additional public hearing during upcoming Board of Commissioners meeting. The decisions on conditional use permits may be appealed to the County Board of Commissioners by submitting a letter to the County Planning and Zoning Office within 5 business days. Thanks for your cooperation. All right, we will do roll call. Please state your name for the record. Marnie?
Commissioner Sweeter, here.
Commissioner Jungling?
Commissioner Boots.
Mr. Scott here.
All right, we have a forum. We will now approve the meeting minutes. Are there any corrections? Anybody have any corrections for the meeting minutes? If not, I'll ask for a motion for the meeting minutes.
I'll move to approve the meeting minutes, Scott.
Second, Boots.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? All right, that passes. All right, now we approve the meeting agenda. Are there any changes to the meeting agenda, Mr. Brown?
None, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. With that, I'll ask for a motion.
I'll move to approve the agenda, Scott.
Second, Sweeter.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? All right, that passes. All right, next is one of my favorite things, is public input on non-agenda items. So anything not on the agenda, if you guys want to talk to us about, come on up. Seeing none, I'm going to close the floor to public input, and I will ask for our first item, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Toby Brown with County Planning Office. This first application before you is an application to change the zone of a property. Subject property is located about 2,700 feet be directly to the west, or be to the south, sorry, of the city of Harrisburg. Subject property, as you can see, is shown on the new comprehensive plan land use map as a planned growth area. Subject property is about a little over 24 acres in size, currently zoned A1 agricultural, as is all surrounding properties or adjacent properties. Subject property is undeveloped, there are unimproved. There's really no structures currently on the property. This would be some shots that were taken of the property. The one looking directly, I believe, to the west would be the one we're looking at. So the applicant did submit an application for a planned development district. Applicant is proposing to move current business from within the city of Harrisburg out to this area. That business is a trailer sales. So on the site plan or on the concept plan, initial concept plan, did identify to be building a proposed office building, and they would have primarily outdoor areas for storing or showcasing the trailers that would be for sale on the property. So the applicant, with some of this application, did work with staff and the city of Harrisburg. The city of Harrisburg had this particular property undesignated. So the applicant, myself, did meet with the City Planning Commission, who recommended changing it to a commercial use on this property. It did go then before the Harrisburg City Council, which the applicant and I also attended, and the City of Harrisburg City Council did approve a change or an amendment to their comprehensive plan to identify this particular property as commercial. Along with that, staff from the City of Harrisburg and county staff worked together on really looking at the proposed uses that would be proposed on the property. So there's a lot of collaboration and communication, I believe, with the city, the applicant, and all associated with it. So with that, staff did draft a plan development district. It'd be the Prairie Wind Trailers Plan Development District. With this, there would be one sub-area for the entire property. The uses that would be allowed within the sub-area would be office, warehousing, trailer equipment sales, display and repair, motor vehicle sales, display and service. There's typically might be some trade-ins or some other types of vehicles. More than likely, the applicant would have a dealer's license on this property, so that would be the addition of the motor vehicle sales on the property. But primarily, it'd be the trailer equipment sales and some repair that'd be associated with that use. And with the regulations, and again, going with the plan development district as a new comprehensive plan encourages us to work with the city to really make this property and this particular use annexable and then also compliant with the city's regulations. But with that, the parking, signage, and all of that would meet the county's regulations at this time, as well as the density area, yard, and height regulations with it. Some additional regulations that the final development plan would not be required if development's in accordance with these regulations. So per plan development district regulations, prior to building on the property or developing the property, it has to come back before the planning commission. We're just circumventing that process because essentially they're being proposed as what it is right now on the plans. That at least 90% of the required front yard setback should be landscaped and maintained with grass or other living ground cover, except for that portion of the front yard which is paved for the driveway or off-street parking. One tree per 50 feet of lot width is required. No more than 25% of the required trees may be deciduous, ornamental, and evergreen or coniferous trees. So as you recall, the county does not have any landscaping standards. That standard is a requirement of the city of Harrisburg. City staff and county staff agreed to put that as a regulation there, and we did discuss that with the applicant as well. And that any outdoor lighting shall be shielded using hood or lens cast down lightward to minimize the amount of light cast on adjacent properties. That's a standard condition that we put on all commercial industrial type properties. And then again, arrange utilities in such a way that future services are easily connected. And again, so that's wanting to work with the city of Harrisburg to make sure that when they get there with utilities, that it's an easily connect as opposed to working through some additional requirements with it. So with that, the applicant and I attended a neighborhood meeting out there. So we did invite neighbors within the notification area. Had a turnout there and discussed kind of the concerns or issues that might be present there. Nothing really was brought forward as far as a concern that we added into the plan development regulations. As well as the applicant did send additional notifications public hearing tonight. Staff did post a property, and as of this point, staff has received no comments regarding this particular application. City staff is in support of the application. They reviewed the final draft of the plan development and thought all of the concerns that they had were addressed with that application. The proposed building on the property would exceed all of the minimum lot and yard regulations that are proposed or that would be required in a typical commercial type zoning district with that. And so with that, gladly turn it back to you, Mr. Chair, and answer any questions that the board has for staff at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Commissioners, any questions for staff?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Brown. Just a few, since this is the first one we're doing since the updated comprehensive plan, I just want to, I guess, visit about it a little bit. So can you just walk us through how this process works? Okay, if it gets approved as plan development, 5 years down the road, City of Harrisburg comes along, wants to annex it, because it's a plan development, that allows the municipality to change it to the zone that fits them? Is that correct?
Yeah, so upon annexation, I think because of the way this is drafted, they would just annex it as these regulations. So they wouldn't change it to any additional regulations. They'll bring it in as what we've already zoned it.
So they just leave it as a planned development?
Yes, because it'll meet all of their standards, yes.
And I guess what they do with it then is what they do with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's the reason why not just this one, but going forward, these will all be planned developments, so that kind of leaves them nimble enough, I guess, for the municipality to do with what they want, correct?
Correct. And so,
Okay.
I should have pointed out too, is this property is within the growth area and also the subdivision authority of the city of Harrisburg. The applicant's proposing no subdivision of the property right now at this point in time, but if it was, that's strictly, if you recall, it goes through the city of Harrisburg. The purpose of doing this plan development, so we get the communication up front before that
Yeah.
happens, so we make sure there's no
Yeah.
conflicts with it, so.
And I guess that, not necessarily a question, but just an observation. So it appears that different than what you've done in the past is you've kind of been the mediator between the applicant and the city of Harrisburg to make sure that this will all work in the future going forward. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it sounds like you've done.
We
Will continue to do in these scenarios?
Yeah, I think this is a test case though, really, is that I was in attendance at every meeting that the city had with the applicant and with any elected officials that we had, so it wasn't just communication, it was involvement, I think, coordination. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it worked out, yeah.
And in your opinion, that whole process has worked how you thought it was gonna?
Yep, I mean, it's intensive from a staff perspective, but, it's led to a better application in my
Yep.
mind, yeah.
As far as it's kind of a broad requirement as far as the utilities, but how will that be policed, I guess, or how will that be made sure? Does the city of Harrisburg kind of sign off on that final plan then on how that is? So it's easy for them?
Yeah, I mean, we'll share, essentially what we're talking about is he's gonna put a holding tank on the property for wastewater. We just wanna make sure that the plumbing will be, focused towards the front where the sewer's gonna come.
Correct.
So that'll be kind of working with the city to make sure we get the right
Get that right.
design, yep.
Okay. All right, very good. That's all I had.
Commissioners, any additional questions? I one for you, Mr. Brown, and I think you said it, but you said there was a pre-annexation agreement in place?
No,
Oh, there's not, okay.
No.
We're just gonna meet their standards, and then that agreement might come later or whatnot. So when city services come out there, they're not mandated to hook up to.
yep. It'll be voluntary annexation until such time as it's not, so. yep.
Okay,
Yeah, the applicant is in attendance tonight, so.
thank you. All right, at this time, I'll ask the applicant to come forward and talk about the proposal.
Hello, the applicant, Michael Hoffman, address is 27673 South Dakota Highway 11, Canton. To address a couple of you guys' questions, I have done a plan development for where our existing business is. That 29 acres there, we did a plan development with the city of Harrisburg and Lincoln County in '07. So I'm familiar with the kind of that process. I get it, it was in the old system, but with the collection tank and kind of getting signed up to get hooked onto the city before they come, I'm familiar with that and been through the process, on board with it, no problem with it. Yeah, I've been through it. I've done it with them already, so happy to do it. So basically, the reasons for the move is we're getting a little bit landlocked. We're growing, need a little more room. We have, I don't know if you're familiar with our situation now. We have lots on two sides of Tom Sawyer. We cross that road to the skid steer moving trailers, and it wasn't a problem when that Tom Sawyer wasn't so busy. It's getting a little busier now. I'm just don't want an accident to happen, and I think it's better for us to move out of there. I still own the storage units and still own some of the other buildings there. Not selling those. We'll probably sell the existing building at some point, but we'll move to the new location and continue with what we're doing. The auto, our dealer license is an actual auto license that allows us to do the trailers. So that's what's kind of, had Toby make sure he put in there that if you see a vehicle sitting there, that's part of our way our dealer license is set up. So pretty rare that we ever trade a vehicle for a trailer or something, but our license does allow us to do it. And over COVID, we thought things were gonna get slow, so we purchased some vehicles to repair. We had a few of them sitting out there, but pretty rare that we'll have a vehicle sitting out there. So,
All right, thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you.
thank you.
All right, at this time, I'll open the floor to anybody in support of the application. Seeing none, I'll ask anybody in opposition of the application. All right, seeing none, I'll close the floor to public input, and I'll ask for a motion from the commission.
I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions, Boots.
Second, Scott.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion.
No, I can see where this is a better area to move to. It's the plan development. I kind of like how everything's working together now with our plan. So Harrisburg is on board, we're on board, and like Mike said, he's kind of outgrown where he's at, and a little bit of a safety issue, get everything in one spot instead of going back and forth across the street. So I will be in support of.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Since, I just want to make a few comments since this is kind of this is the beginning of a new thing for Lincoln County. We've spent a lot of time, especially staff has spent a lot of time kind of coming up with this vision and how we could make this work in the northern part of the county versus the way it was. And it seems to me, with just a few simple changes, that this is going to be a pretty seamless process going forward, and this will be one of many, I'm assuming. It's kind of exciting and interesting to see the first one. I guess I didn't know when, I figured it'd come quick, but it is, and as long as everybody's on board and we solve for the problems we've had where the municipality and the annexation process doesn't get horked up, not only do I not have a problem with this one, but I foresee quite a lot of these types of situations moving forward. So it's kind of exciting to see. I don't want that to get swept under the rug, that this is something new we're doing. And I also want people to understand why, at least me, I don't know I can't speak for you guys, why I would be in support for this plan development where in the past maybe I haven't been. And the reason I'm in support for it is because of the changes that have come, that staff has led the charge on, that has also come with our comprehensive plan to allow this, what I would call premature development outside of the municipalities. So with that, that's all I got.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? I did have one question, Mr. Brown, and more because I'm a nosy neighbor and I forgot to ask earlier. Did we talk to the county on traffic and access and stuff like that onto the highway?
Yep, the applicants visited with the highway superintendent about the proposed access areas. Yep.
Okay, and that entrance would go onto 472nd?
I believe it's the south.
We talked with him actually, because the parcel's so big, the 27 acres or 26 acres, where your cursor is, that would be kind of the main one for
Sure.
the daily entrance, but with semis and stuff coming in, we would also have the one over by the, I don't know if it's a metering station or what it is, for the gas line there.
Over there by the gas line, okay, thank you.
To access also that, we're not gonna need
in the future. I don't anticipate needing the 26 acres at some point, or, I'm sorry, 24 acres, whatever is the existing area at some point will be. I don't think that much
Thank you.
business.
Okay, thank you. I'm a neighbor to the north, so I go drive by every day, so I just want to know where to drive. I have no, my comments are, I really like how we worked with the city of Harrisburg, made sure we were planning for future growth. Like Commissioner Scott said, no islands. That's our biggest thing that we've had for years and years and years, and this looks like an island now, but it's planned not to be, which is a good thing. And then a meeting with the neighbors, that was a big thing too, because you have to have neighborhood buy-in, otherwise you can't put tall enough fences up. So I will be in support. Any other comments? I'll do roll call. We have a motion and a second with the conditions. Commissioner Sweeter,
Yes.
Commissioner Boots,
Yes.
Commissioner Green. Scott,
Commissioner Green is not here.
he's not here. Commissioner Scott.
Commissioner Scott is a yes.
All right, I'm also a yes. Congratulations. All right, with that, we are moving on to item number 2.
Okay, the second item is an application for a conditional use permit to exceed the 10,000 square foot of total warehouse building area. Applicant is requesting in 2 buildings, 46,540 square feet. So the subject property is a little over 7,600 feet to the southwest of the city of Harrisburg city limits. Subject properties, so there's actually 2 parcels here that the applicant's buying, and the buildings would be on the 2 separate parcels, so one building on a parcel, another building on a parcel. But subject property is zoned C commercial, as is surrounding properties to the north and to the west. The surrounding property to the south and to the east is currently zoned A1 agricultural and utilized for agricultural purposes. Subject property is undeveloped at this time. It is within the La Valley Business Park, and all of the Valley Business Park lots are developed with commercial type uses, similar type uses, warehousing. And it would be looking directly to the south on the property, as you can see there. So the applicant did submit a site plan with the application, again identified 2 buildings to be built on the 2 separate lots. Subject buildings would meet and exceed all building requirements or minimum building requirements. So the 2 buildings would be utilized for condo storage. So essentially, they would be similar to ones we've done in the past, where they're sold for use as condo type storage. We did post the property. The applicant did send notice to surrounding property owners, as well as this is within the city of Harrisburg subdivision and their growth area. So staff did work with staff from the city to identify their recommendations on the application. They didn't have any objections to the application. I did share with them the conditions that staff was recommending. They did support the conditions that were for recommendation for approval. Staff does feel this application is consistent with the zoning and also the surrounding area. There is, again, adjacent A1 agricultural properties, but we don't feel that this development's going to impede on any future development of those properties, as well as that there will be requirements with the building permit process that staff will take a look at the civil plans to make sure that drainage is addressed with this application. So I know, saying that is that there's always a concern when we have adjacent properties to the south and that would be agricultural type properties to make sure that that we address any types of drainage or runoff associated with the application. But again, do feel that this application is consistent with the conditional use permit requirements. Do recommend approval of this with the 6 conditions that were placed in the staff report. And again, you'll see that this is the landscaping requirements. Did work with the city staff to make sure that we are compliant with their landscaping type requirements. Because again, there is no minimum landscaping standards within the county's regulations, but we will follow this because it's within the city of Harrisburg's growth area. So, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it back to you And staff, upon posting of that, as of this meeting, staff has received no comments regarding this proposed application. But with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Chair, and answer any questions that the board has for staff at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Commissioners, any questions for staff? Thank you, Toby.
Okay, thank you.
All right, at this time, I'll ask the applicant to come forward and speak about their project.
Good evening, guys. So I'm the property owner and he's the applicant, so we're working together on this project, so.
Okay.
Not sure which one of us is appropriate or both, but,
Whichever one talks, have your name and address on there, please.
yep, so I'm Greg Nottebohm. My home address is 2509 South Purdue Avenue in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
All right, tell us about what you're planning.
Yep, so I own the RV dealership in Harrisburg and we get a lot of clients looking for, nicer places to park their things inside and, I've seen storage units go up and I own some of them myself and they are nice for keeping your personal toys, so, that's a perfect property for that. It's off the beaten path. Size-wise works good to do that. They'll look nice. They're more of a luxury item, so gotta clean up the area too.
All right, commissioners, any questions for the applicant?
One, Mr. Junklin.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. So if I got that right, are you gonna be selling these then?
Yes.
And then, when they're all sold, whose responsibility is it? We have like a, HOA or something that takes care of everything or
Yep.
has responsibility in the future?
Correct.
Okay. And
Is the parking lot, is that gonna be gravel or concrete, or what's that gonna consist of?
It'll be either asphalt or concrete.
Okay, a hard surface. Okay.
Hard surface, yes.
All right, commissioners, any other questions?
No.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
All right, at this time, I'll ask for anybody in favor of the application. All right, I'll ask for anybody in opposition of the application. Opposition to application? No? All right, with that, I'll close the floor to public input, and I'll ask for a motion from the commission.
I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Additional conversations, Commission?
Mr. Chairman,
sir.
can I ask Mr. Brown a few questions?
Yes, please.
Is that possible? Toby, can you just refresh me refresh us on how the whole HOA thing and how that operates going forward and what, if they aren't, I guess who polices that? Will that still be, so these guys are applying for the conditional use, but then does that just that stays with the property? Does that, at some point, how does that transfer to the HOA, I guess?
So typically they'll file a condo agreement or it would be some type of an HO agreement with the Register of Deeds office. And then that establishes a board out of it. So the two that we have is Rec Storage and Rec Storage 2. And so that board then governs whatever those covenant or what restrictions that are HOA requirements that are filed with the Register of Deeds office. So they police them. We'll still police from the zoning perspective, nuisance perspective and stuff like that. But any of the maintenance and any of the operation would be associated with the HOA or condo agreement.
That's what I'm wondering. So like if we're 10 years down the road and they fall out of compliance, then it's the HOA board that is who your office communicates with to get them back into compliance?
If the individual tenants are out of compliance? So then we.
Well, yeah, that's, I guess that's another
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, they'll be separate parcels. So each of those units will be a separate parcel. They'll have an owner associated with it. So if there's
Really?
any compliance, we just address it to the individual property owner.
So then every time one of these gets sold, it gets subdivided into its own parcel?
Yep, they're individual parcels, yeah. And so then we have, just like any other property, we have the contact, and that's who we contact and work with,
Okay.
yeah. So I can't think of the two that we have that we've had any relationship with the HOA board.
I'm just wondering about that from a conditional use standpoint, if that's right, if we should be splitting up the conditional use permit into however many different conditional, because then technically if you subdivide that property, then we're subdividing the conditional use permit as well, right?
So
I mean, are each,
Yeah.
is each individual, you see where I'm going with it, what my question is?
So the land doesn't get subdivided. The land will stay with, as it is with the HOA.
Okay.
And so the individual units they'll get subdivided out. They don't get subdivided. They just they're essentially a condo type that they'll get a parcel ID with it because of the ownership transfer. But really, the property doesn't change from what it is.
So how does it look on, I mean, when you go on the GIS map, then is it gonna be a whole bunch of little parcels?
It's just a parcel around the unit, yeah. Yeah, that just shows us who owns it, so if we have any.
But then they don't own the land that it sits on?
It's like a condo, yeah. So far, I mean, we haven't had one of these for a long term, but so far everything's going pretty smooth with what we have, so.
Yeah,
I would say the HOA and the two that we have, the two structure, are pretty active, more active than I think any HOA that we have in the county, as far as responsive to property concerns and those.
yeah,
kinds of
I'm not
stuff,
so, yeah, I mean, that's up to them, I guess, yeah. The thing that I'm trying to wrap my head around is how you make a permit for a piece of property and then we go divide it all up. And the person that, I don't know, I'm not saying I'm against it, I'm just trying to figure that out. It's like a lot of stuff happens after, the thing looks a lot different than what we originally approved, maybe, potentially.
So the conditions are enforced on the entire property, so that's associated with it. The only thing that you're approving is for an oversized warehouse building. No contractor shops, no retail sales, nothing there, it's just oversized warehouse building.
Okay.
So essentially with this one, you're allowing the construction of it, as is the other two. You were only approving oversized warehouse buildings, you weren't approving any other operation within there, so.
Okay.
Okay?
But it might not be. I'm still thinking. So, okay,
It's like, Commissioner's almost like an apartment building, but, a condo.
yeah.
And there's one building you only zone it R3, and then everyone else has their spot inside of it.
Yeah, and I guess what you're saying is, if we approve this, we're really not approving anything over and above that happens in the future, so it really doesn't, it can't affect that, really. I mean, somebody can't come and, this sounds stupid, but they can't make their unit twice as big. Or something like that, just because of this.
So they'd have to go through the HOA for that, but we as the county wouldn't be prohibited from modifying that.
We what?
The county, we could permit that, but they'd have to go through the HOA to make sure the HOA was supportive of that type of a thing.
But then would they, yeah. Mhm. But this permit is limiting to a certain size, so if it makes it any bigger, then they'd have to get a new conditional use permit, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. All right, I think that's all my questions. Thanks, Toby.
Yep.
Any other comments, Commissioners? My only comment is this fits the area very well, matches everything else in there. And as long as the drainage and all that's handled, which it will be at the later time with a building permit, I'm in support. So with that, I'll do roll call. Commissioner Sweeter?
Yes.
Commissioner Boots?
Yes.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Green, or Jungling, I got in there anyway.
Boy, I wish Commissioner Green was here. You really miss him, don't you?
Commissioner Jungling is also a yes. All right, that passes. Congratulations. All right, with that, we get to move on to any old business, Mr. Brown.
None, Mr. Chair.
All right, and we'll move on to any new business? Oh, yes, I like it when we have new business.
Just informational, so prior to the last meeting until tonight, the Board of Commissioners did meet at their fourth meeting, which was a night meeting, which was in July. And they did uphold the Planning Commission's approval of conditional use 0014-2025. That was for the agriculture-related business down by the dairy. And they did uphold it, but they amended it and added two conditions. One condition was an annual payment of $25,000 to Brooklyn and Delaware Townships for road maintenance. The second one was a neighborhood meeting associated with the area, and I guess the applicant, the county sheriff, planning staff, District 2 County Commissioner would be in attendance at that. And that, I think that's going to be a valuable tool as we get to good communication going between everybody down there. Sorry, there was a third condition was added too, that no milk haulers would travel on any roads except the county road and then the township road going into the actual facility. So that's the only route that once they come in that area that they can travel on if they're not generated outside of that township, or I guess that area. And then next Tuesday night, and again, the Board of Commissioners has changed every fourth meeting. They're going to do a night meeting, so it starts at 6:30 p.m. But next Tuesday, the board will be doing the public hearing and second reading on plan development. That was the Kurtenbach one up by Lake Alvin. And so that was the change of zone to allow 3 houses on the 3 parcel lots up there, which the Planning Commission did recommend approval of that. And so those are the only 2 items that were in between last Planning Commission meeting and this Planning Commission meeting. So that's all I had.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other comments, or I'll ask for a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn, Scott.
Second, Boots.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Thank you, that was a good meeting.